Well, Easties, it didn't take long for the Nueces County Courthouse to become the focus of county officials once again, and there's a laundry list of things to do to bring this facility back up into its top form. So the funeral service for Army Specialist John Paul Barta is just wrapping up here at First Baptist Church. However, mourners did not know what to expect when they arrived here this morning. Come January 1st, a carton of cigarettes will cost closer to $50. Compared to that, it would be cheaper to go with the gum for a nicotine fix. Thinking that this misunderstanding would easily be taken care of, Harry came down here to municipal court, and that's when things started getting a little bit complicated. Easy's last night, Clausen's music store on SPID was robbed by thieves who smashed through the front door, marking the third time this type of crime has happened in the last 3 days. When Bobby Clausen and his staff came to work this morning, they found this: shattered glass and missing instruments.
Well, we came to work about 10 o'clock, and it looks like somebody backed a pickup truck or something through the front door and took all of our expensive accordions and our expensive basses. They knew exactly what they were looking for.
Thieves made off with nearly $25,000 in musical equipment. The office and the cash register weren't even touched. So with thieves on the loose with an eye out for only musical equipment, we spoke with Bobby Galvan of Galvan Music Company, who's been friends with Clausen ever since they both opened up their shops nearly 50 years ago. His store carries similar products that were stolen from Clausen's, and it wasn't until we told him that he found out about the bad news.
It concerns us deeply, and now that you've brought this to our attention, it's scary.
This latest robbery is the third this week, following break-ins at a Radio Shack and at Dr. Nerd's Computers. But Bobby Clausen is surprised that his store was the one that was hit.
Maybe I'm more important than other people if I'm on third on the list. It don't make me feel good at all.
While police continue with their investigation, Clausen is looking into his own security service. After an alarm went off, no one went to the store to see what was wrong. Easties, for people living at the Bay Tree Apartments in Aransas Pass, sewage problems are so bad that it's to the point where they're nearly being forced out of their homes. A warning to our viewers, some of this footage may be disturbing. For 16 years, Mary Clark has lived at this apartment in Aransas Pass, but ongoing problems with the sewage has pushed her out the front door.
Water is backed up everywhere. All my closets, furniture getting ruined and everything, and I've been making a complaint to the office, and nothing's being done.
When Town & Country Property Management took over the Bay Tree Apartments in November, a maintenance worker inspected all the units, but that's the last time the people living here saw the plumber. Since then, drains in most of the apartments have backed up, leaving inches of water in homes for the last 2 weeks.
But this time here, water is halfway in raw sewage, halfway up into the bathtubs, and we couldn't get it out.
In order for Mary to save her belongings, her only option is to leave them out on the front porch. But for her neighbors, it's worse. Now, because of the horrible conditions, the water is actually pushing people out of their bedrooms and into their living rooms, where they are forced to sleep overnight. This apartment literally has water spilling out the front door, and this unit has an inch of standing water in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, you think it's getting out of hand for you, but it's out of hand for us. My kids are getting rashes on their back from walking in urine.
And while Action 10 was at the scene, one tenant finally got a hold of one of the property managers.
I've been calling you. I've been leaving you messages. You haven't been in the office. I mean, I didn't call Channel 10, but just to let you know, I am letting them see my apartment.
Now, this story has another sad twist. This afternoon, the property managers asked Rainbow Carpet Cleaners to vacuum the floors of the apartment. However, when the cleaners got there was no paperwork to prove that they would be paid for the job. The workers left, leaving the residents in those awful conditions. Easties, last night, the troubleshooters told you about a disgusting problem at the Bay Tree apartment complex in Aransas Pass. Water and raw sewage was leaking throughout the units, but today, changes are being made to clean up those foul conditions. It looks like things are about to change for people living at the Bay Tree Apartments. Just hours after Action 10 reported on the nasty conditions in several apartments, Town & Country Property Management brought in a Beeville cleaning company to remove the water.
Someone come in about 7 o'clock, put on the blow dryers, mopped up some water and stuff. The blow dryer's still going.
And today, San Patricio health authorities were on hand to look into a problem that overwhelmed the new management.
I think that they've kind of been surprised by some of the property conditions since they took over about 4 to 6 weeks ago, and I believe that they are wanting to do the right thing by these tenants.
City workers from Aransas Pass also visited to follow up on sewer work to keep the drains from coming back up again.
But this morning, different crews and stuff been out, so I think we're getting something done.
Ms. Clark. We spoke with a manager from Town & Country who did not want to be identified. She tells us that it's been tough to make up for the problems that the previous landlord left behind, but they are willing to make the changes.
We'll be doing some further testing, and then we'll be making some health recommendations back to the apartments for them to take some corrective action, and I believe they'll do that.
And for Mary Clark, this is a start to something better.
Makes me feel good. Make me feel good. Because just like I said, we have too many little children out here to have to live in this. Yeah, just but right now I'm satisfied.
The San Patricio Health Department also says they'll be looking into health hazards to see how long management will have to make other changes. In Grenada, Army veteran Harry Shaw was injured so badly doctors had to amputate both his legs. It's earned him the Purple Heart fighting for his country in Grenada, but Shaw is now fighting City Hall over a parking ticket.
So we stopped at Barnes & Noble for like 15 minutes. Getting out, hit my head on the mirror and knocked the placard off. And come out, lo and behold, we got a ticket.
Ironically, Harry, who has used a wheelchair for 22 years, was ticketed for parking in a handicap zone. Thinking that this misunderstanding would easily be taken care of, Harry came down here to municipal court, and that's when things started getting a little bit complicated. A clerk told Shaw to fill out a protest form to get the ticket dismissed, but instead of handing it back to her, the clerk instructed him to leave it in the drop box outside, but not in the friendliest manner.
Very surly, do this, do that, didn't want to hear anything I had to say attitude. It's, you know, to me it was very uncaring and bordering on rude.
After all that, he still received a summons in the mail.
Well, they ought to feel a little bit ashamed and a little goofy because I thought it was pretty obvious when I went down there the first time.
Action 10 spoke with City Attorney Mary Kay Fisher about the ticket, and she tells us that her office would make arrangements for Shaw to explain his case and hopefully get the ticket dismissed. Alex Stivers.